Hello, Gareth here. So, whoever is watching, I hope you're well. Me, I'm fairly well. Today has been a very hot and humid day in Japan, and so I'm taking an evening walk by my local river where there's a very refreshing breeze. I'm really enjoying it. And in the distance, I can see a ship, and it's very beautiful. I'll try and show you. Here we go. I hope you can see it. I absolutely love ships. For me, there's just something very romantic about them. But there you go. Sounds daft, but it's the truth. I love them. So anyway, in today's watercolor lesson or demonstration or whatever, we are going to be drawing and painting a boat. So I know they are a very challenging subject, but I strongly encourage you to have a go because they're a very beautiful subject, in my opinion. And if you are painting a river scene or a sea scene, it's wonderful if you can add a boat. So let's do it. I'm going to do the outline of the river first. So then it curves around here and comes out about here. And then continues along here to about here. And then horizontal. And then we've got another mud bank here. And then here we've got some grass. Like that. And it comes down like this, like layers. But don't make it too obvious. But that's the basic pattern, this coming down. And then maybe we've got these round things. Maybe another one here. Okay, now for the most difficult thing. Oh, and we've got these wooden posts here. Okay, now for the most difficult thing, the boat. So you really have to think where you're going to put it. That's the top bit, comes down to about here. So this is the middle. Then this is the back bit. So very lightly draw it in case you make a mistake. And so the shadow, the reflection is going to come down to about here. You need to make sure you have enough space so the shadow is not touching this riverbank. Okay, and then there's this under bit like this. And we've got something like this, and it comes round. This is very difficult, like that. It looks easy, it's not easy. This angle and this angle is different. This one is a little bit sharper, goes in a bit more, and then it's not a straight line, it curves up and follows this. And then we've got this dark underside, so a bit tricky. That is about halfway through this line. Then we've got something like that, and then it goes about here. And then we're going to have a bit across here. Make sure this bit and this bit are level. It's easy to get these two at different angles and it really shows. And then inside we're going to have some round thing and then some nets, something like that. Okay, then reflection. Don't have to be too accurate, but we don't want to be way off. It's a bit strange here. Yeah, like that. There's actually a little curve in there. Okay. And I think that's it. There's some trees over here. And going to give it a feeling of perspective, like they're getting bigger and closer. So now, oh, and we've got some boats up here. And it's tricky, but try to make them look a bit different. And this one's coming out. And then one here. Coming towards us. Okay. And maybe a tiny one up here. And then we've got some reflections there, there, and a little one there. There we go. Okay, now painting time. So get my big flat brush, a touch of yellow, and my sun is going to be here. Okay, then get maybe yellow ochre. If you get hairs, just pull them out. And then a bit more watery. And then after this, very watery. Next, cobalt blue. Begin at the edge and then slowly move in. It'll become weaker and weaker. wash that out. Next, mop brush. Here we go. And then I get some cobalt blue. And then I add a little bit of white to it to make it thicker. And then maybe a cloud here. One here. Not too many. Dab to soften it a bit. And then maybe over here, a big one coming down like this. And I think that's enough, not too much. And then we're going to do a reflection of this here. So wash the brush out thoroughly so there's no no blue on it. We don't want to darken this yellow colour. Very easy to do. Okay, so we've got white line here. So here yellow, and a few lines across like this. Then yellow ochre. Blend that in. Then make it watery. Over here too. And then cobalt blue. So you have to work quite quickly. Wow, that's my mix. So you can have these mixers ready so you don't have to mix them if it takes you a long time. And then we want to try and copy this sky area, which is a bit tricky. Dab on the rag to soften it so it's easier to blend in. And then we have to try and copy this roughly. And then down here. Drying out very quickly. So okay. And then the clouds. So blue, touch of white. And we've got this one here. Dab on the rag if it's too watery. And then that one here. And then this one here. Roughly, yeah. Dab on the rag to soften it. Make it less watery too. And we're doing the inverse. A little bit tricky, right? Then we've got this going up here. And then this one here. And it's going up, so like that. and I think that will do. And then a final thing we could possibly do is, oh, and also here, it's drying out though, have to be a bit careful. I think maybe that's enough, but could get the bamboo brush, pure water, dab on the rag, and just a few lines, not many, just a few. So although this is water, it's not a large amount of water on the brush, because that will give us a cauliflower. And then, this might be a bit scary, but get your tissue, make this straight as possible. Here we go. Try and make it straight. I'm using a clean bit now of the tissue because it picks up paint and you don't want to put it back onto clean paper. Else you pick up some dirt, which we've got a little bit of here, but not too much. Okay, so now we want to let this dry. So now I'm going to do the grass here. So I'm going to use a bamboo brush, then yellow ochre, touch of cobalt blue, and maybe yellow. We need yellow. Okay, here we go. Going over the boats is fine. So start out thin and gradually get thicker, roughly. Okay, now let's do this mud flat. So I get a bigger brush. It'll be easier to make a bigger mix. Big bamboo brush, yellow ochre, some red, more red, cobalt blue, I think I want a brownish purple colour. Yeah, that's quite good. Bit more watery. Okay, and then begin here. And we can add other colours a little bit. To give it a touch of variety, just a little. Just be careful this is not super wet next to the green paint, especially if the green paint has dried out a bit. Okay, let's spray that a little. And then let's do this side. So at the top, yellow ochre, maybe a touch of blue in there, and kind of rough edge. And then we're going to make a green, so yellow, then this blue, a bit more yellow, and I'm moving the brush forwards. Normally you move it this way, I'm doing it the opposite way, but I need it to be more green than that. Okay, then let's do this bit here. Okay, here we go. Maybe that's a little bit too thick. Add some blue here. Add a little bit of that. And then let's do this bit in the foreground. I should spray that. Okay, some blue, yellow ochre, red, bit more blue, grey off. Bit more blue again. Mix it with a touch of red. I want to get a touch of variety. And then make this edge a little bit rougher. Like that. Hopefully it looks a bit more natural. Then some yellow ochre here. Brush it in. And then we've done it. And then spray. And then let that dry. Now I'm going to do these trees in the distance. I'm using a bamboo brush, yellow ochre, phthalo blue, a touch of red, I splay the hairs a bit to get a rough edge. Yellow ochre. Mix the colours up a little bit. green. Then some blue. Spray it to keep it workable. Then cobalt blue. Yeah, looking nice. And then a little bit of a dark colour, blue and red, underside of these trees here. Just a little in the lower right hand corner. Let's just spray it again. Blue, add a little bit of this, touch of water. There we go. That's quite nice. It's very blue here in the distance. It's creating a sense of perspective. Bit exaggerated, but I think it works well. Okay, then brown, well, burnt sienna, phthalo blue. Oh, goodness me. Add a bit of red to it. Bit more brown. Okay, and then let's do these sticks. And this one. Okay, then brownish colour. That will do. Bit more watery, bit more brown. And then we're going to do some dry brush down here. Just a little. It's quite tricky, you really don't need a lot. And then a little bit along here. Yeah, that will do. And then same colour along here, but have little gaps between. And there we go. It gets a bit thicker as we get nearer to the foreground. Yeah, that's good. Okay, it's really coming together. Then I'm going to get a bigger bamboo brush. Now this is where it starts to get a bit scary, I'm afraid. A bit more difficult. Burnt sienna with some phthalo blue and a touch of alizarin crimson till you get this kind of browny, mucky colour. And do this quite a few times until we get a nice dry brush effect. You have to do it a few times. And then we get, look at that. That's lovely. It's a technique and it just takes time to get good at it. And even then, sometimes it goes a bit wrong. But when it's done right, it looks really nice. Okay, I'm just making the edge here look a bit more interesting. Hopefully I didn't overdo it. It's very easy to overdo it. Okay, and then we've got these marks coming down. It shows you the angle. I did that a little bit there. But there's also maybe a bit here by the edge. It's actually quite fun. And then same kind of mix but darker, because there's a darker bit here. And I might just blend that in with my finger just to soften it a bit. Okay, just remember you've got dirty fingers now, so if you put them on the paper again, you're going to make it dirty. You have to wipe them on some tissue. And then we're going to do the foreground bit, and maybe not too much. Again, minimalist. It really is a challenge, but it's so important. Yeah, I think that's enough. And yeah, I think that's not too bad. Okay, let's leave that to dry. Now let's do these boats. So use my bamboo brush and this cobalt blue. It's a bit dirty. In fact, that colour will do. And can I see them? There's one here. Okay, one there. Have to be careful not to make them all look the same. There's a boat here. Reflection there. Reflection there. Okay, this one is the other way around. That's good. Bit different. And a small one, so slightly different size. And then one maybe coming towards us. So lots of lovely different angles. Maybe one more boat here. Maybe that's turned at quite a strong angle. They've got to be a bit different to one another. Okay, that's nice. Okay. That's too high, so we're going to have to do some surgery here and remove it. Oh dear. Make it a little bit lower. Big is good, but just lower. Looks like it's almost on the grass. We don't want that. Okay, then some water, a bit watery for the reflection. Okay, there we go. So yeah, that's not too bad. Then let's do this one here. So again, use this watery blue colour. A touch of red, just a touch. Okay. And then a darker mix for the reflection. So cobalt blue, red, alizarin crimson. That'll do. Purplish. Now I could soften underneath here. It's a bit tricky though. I'll have a go. So it's only slightly wet. It might not work that well. Let's do it 3 times. So it's damp. It will dry out very quickly though, so it's quite a tricky thing to do this. Yeah, there we go. I'm not so sure about that, if I like it or not. Then make a thick mix. So phthalo blue, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson. So this is very thick. Has to be thick, otherwise it's going to explode. Okay, wipe on the rag. And do this underside. Like that. And then let's just leave that to dry. I might correct this a bit. It exploded out too much. Oh, it's not too bad. It's not. It really does look a bit like that, but that is very difficult to do. What you can do is, like the reflections here, wet on dry, and then after it's dried 100%, just soften it. And that's a much easier way, and it looks pretty good too. Okay, let's do some, I don't know what they are, boys or whatever they are. Somebody can tell me in the comments. But these round things, they're very interesting objects that really add to the painting. There's one, maybe do one more here. and then over here. Okay, and then also with this, just have a few tiny edge marks. Very few. Okay, let's leave it all to dry. Now we're going to do a few textural surfaces across the river. So I'm going to use maybe this big bamboo brush. So this is tricky. I'm going to have a touch of cerulean blue. Okay. Oh, actually it's cobalt blue. Then a tiny bit of burnt sienna in there, just to darken it off a touch. Okay, let's have a look at this. Yeah, that's quite nice. Dry it out a bit on here, and then, fingers crossed, so you have to do this very gently, and it's not easy at first. Okay. Try not to go over the same area more than once. Sometimes you will because there's a gap. Yeah, I think that's nice. Okay, lovely. Yeah, I think that really makes it look a lot nicer, don't you? But it's a tricky technique. Okay, with this brush, I'm just going to soften these reflections a bit. So this is also delicate. You don't want to go too hard here. And I keep dabbing this on the tissue. I just want to soften the edge a tiny bit. Yeah. Okay, lovely. And then let's add a bit more detail to this, not too much, but a bit. Small bamboo brush. Then phthalo blue, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, phthalo blue, kind of a purplish colour, and just in here. to go around this. Maybe watery, bit more watery, same mix but a bit more watery, and do underneath, then back into the same mix. Okay, like that, and I think that touch higher. Okay, and then I think this needs to be a little bit darker, so just same mix but very watery. Just darken it a little, and then yeah, so this is water now, but it's not super watery, so I can hopefully blend this in. Just get some paint, some greyish paint, and just do this gap. Okay, it's not too bad. And then the next thing is wet down here with a big mop brush, so make sure it's clean, then wet down here. That's good. And then get my small bamboo brush, then a thick mix of phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, burnt sienna, so this is dark, very dark. Bit more water. Bit more blue. Bit more red. Okay, more brown. Okay, maybe that will do. Wipe it on the rag to get rid of excess water, and then we're going to do a reflection of this. Might be a bit too strong. And this one. Yeah. And let's leave all of that to dry. I've made them quite thick, right? So maybe I should thicken them up here a little bit. This is called fudging. I don't recommend it, but sometimes you just find that you have to. Okay. I could always wipe it out and do it again, but I think it'll be okay. So the final thing is a few highlights with my liner brush and some white paint. Now I've got my liner brush, some white paint, Okay, here we go. So it's a bit thick. You want it to be as thin as possible. Okay, getting there. I think that looks quite nice. And then maybe highlight here, here, and here. Yeah. Okay. So then maybe here, just a touch. Okay, and then here. And then finally this boat. So I think I need to do something a bit more with this boat to make it pop a bit more. Maybe I'll make it blue on the inside. So let's get some cobalt blue. I should really let this white paint dry. I don't know. It's a bit difficult. Okay, I'll make the whole boat blue. See how that turns out. Cobalt blue, yeah. Yeah, I think it's better blue. And then maybe there's some string, I don't know well, rope I should say, not string. Okay, coming down here. Like that. And maybe make this a bit darker here. And maybe add some little thing at the front. Something here. These little touches can end up making a big difference sometimes. And I think that's it. I can't believe it. Yeah, I think that's it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please have a go, and most important of all, have fun. And if you've got like little splats of paint like this up here, what you can do is just turn it into a bird. And now we've done one, might as well do maybe just a few more. There we go. Yeah, they look nice, flying in the sunset. Beautiful. Okay, yeah, so have a go and have fun. Most important thing is have fun and persevere. Persevere through the struggle. So I hope you had a go. I really, really do. And I hope it was fun. So boats are a real beautiful subject. And a little bit of a plug here. Oh, no, I have to say, if you did have a go, then please leave a comment. So it'd be really nice to hear how people found it. So, and now my little plug, yeah. So I do sell prints of my paintings and also originals, small originals, very, very extremely reasonably priced. And there'll be a link in the description box. So if you're interested, please go there. And I also do private teaching for those that are very serious about improving and would like some help. And there'll be a link to that as well. So that's all. I'll be back again in about, let me just show you the sky. It's so beautiful. I don't know if the camera is going to catch it, but it really is beautiful. That warm, rosy colour. It's beautiful, isn't it? I know it sounds a bit daft, but I just absolutely live for things like that. And next to me, I've got the lovely, really lovely, peaceful sound of, you know, the sea. It's absolutely wonderful. But anyway, where was I? I do have a tendency to ramble. Maybe because I'm half Irish, I've no idea. But anyway, I really do hope you enjoyed this. Yes, I remembered. And I'll be back again in about 2 weeks' time with another watercolour demonstration. So that's all for now. Have a lovely life. I always mess up at the end. It's very difficult to know how to end them. So that's all for now. All the best and bye for now. I think that'll do. And I'll give you a final shot of this ship. Okay.